Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show here on the SHR Media Network. Jump into our sumptuous and palatial chat room right now at shrmedia.com. Call us when the phone lines are open. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California and working without a net. You're in the Saloon. You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Tomo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book. I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch.
Captain.
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 Captain. Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
Captain.
Captain.
Captain. Captain.
Captain. Captain.
No, not yet. Don't pass out on me yet. Of course you realize this means war. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
God, I like that song. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to BZ's, the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, spell it with a K, a mere 2 miles east of the locus of evil on the entire left coast. The Bill Mill, the belly of the beast, the Capitol building in downtown Sacramento at 10th and L Streets, where late at night you can hear the death of common sense and its concomitant wail as it wafts from that petrifying edifice. And late at night, when I exit the plush, resplendent, sumptuous, palatial, and effulgently bulbous SHR Media Network studios, I'll be smelling the odoriferous stench of sulfur, brimstone, and evil emanating from that mentally destitute, columned structure aforementioned. Tonight, Spider Bob is going to be your bartender. He pours with the best of them, and the lava lamp is, in fact, not lighted. Not to my right, your left. Instead, the candle, because I forgot the bulb for the lava lamp again. Anyway, that means that you can listen and chat. Go to the chat room, quick like a bunny, shrmedia.com. You can watch the show on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. I gotta tell you this. We don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation, politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the Saloon. Nothing is sacred, the speech is free, but the booze is not. All we ask, please, is that you flush the damn toilet, jiggle the handle, and don't forget to tip your waitress. Great history-making show tonight. Tonight, in the first hour, we have the wondrous, the incredible Jeff Dunetz of Jeff Dunetz fame. His mother loves him like a mother. Wait, his mother loves him like a son. That's it. Then in the second hour, I'm going to have 2 audio cuts regarding the coronavirus that I guarantee you have never heard before. And I can almost guarantee you might never hear them in any other venue unless they happen to steal it from me. Do I know where I got these cuts? Maybe. Maybe not. Am I going to tell you? Probably not. One of them is rather easily acquired. You just have to look for it. The other one, sorry, I have really no idea how that came into my hands, period, end of statement. Welcome in chat to Mike. Welcome to Dave Milner. Welcome to Jeff Dunetz himself. Welcome to the Alaskan, and welcome to 2 viewers who we don't unmask here in the Saloon. If they wish to unmask themselves, they may. But unlike the federal government and various Democrats, leftists, and American media maggots, we do not force you to unmask. You do it by yourself, not us. That's the only solo... Is that? No, that's not the only solo sport that can be utilized by yourself. Jeff Dunetz, good evening, sir, and how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm alive. It's alive. It's alive.
Oh, no. You know, Bernie's alive, but just barely.
Just barely. Oh, boy.
But you know who's a dead man walking?
That's the kind of stuff, Jeff Dunetz, I want to talk about tonight. The first point that we must get to, it's a deal breaker if I don't get to this. Because Jeff's mother told me that I have to. She sent me a letter. And she said, "Dear BZ," because that's my name, "please make sure you do this for my loving son, Jeff." And I said, "Yes, Mrs. Mother Jeff, I will do that." And so I must make reference to Jeff's blog, which has been around for quite some time. It's called lidblog.com. If you want to find the best in news and opinion, go to lidblog.com. I'm not even pumping. I'm pumping the brakes on bloviatingzeppelin.night to net. That's why people come to listen to me, because I screw up the English language with regularity. In any event, lidblog.com. It is not the average blog where you'll see a post a day. I used to make at least a post a day, maybe 2 posts a day for about a year. Man, with all the stuff going on, I just don't have it in me anymore. So Jeff will post like 4, 5 posts a day. A day. You have to be busy to read his stuff, because great opinion, great news, great insight that you're going to get nowhere else. That's WHEH. Nowhere else. ELS. So, okay. I did that. You're laughing. Jeff Dunetz, you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Why am I laughing?
It's just fun. It's fun to be here. It's fun to be with you.
It's really fun to be with you.
We have a great time. The other thing that Mrs. Mom asked me to ask you is, you have thrown your hat in the ring for something.
Yes.
What has happened?
Actually,
and what is that
I have
something?
thrown my yarmulke in the ring.
Yes, you have. Wait,
Okay,
where's this? Yes, you have.
I am on a slate to be going to the World Zionist Congress.
Okay.
In October. Okay. And this year the Congress is more important than anywhere. I'm on the Beirut slate. Okay. And why it's more important than ever is that it's kind of you get people going based on the percentage of votes kind of thing. But this year, one of the slates is run by J Street. You know what J Street is?
No.
Well, it's kind of like they're fake pro-Israel. They say they're pro-peace and pro...
Fake.
Well, yeah, it is, because they really hate Israel. It's
God, what?
Yeah, they hate Israel. Even what's his name? Alan Dershowitz did a whole video on why they are. They say they're pro-peace, but they're not pro-peace. They say they're pro-Israel, and they're not. For example, even when Obama was trying to put more sanctions on Iran, they opposed it. They think that the American government should be playing nice with Hamas. Things like that.
Oh, okay, stop just for a second. Are you reading an article from the Babylon Bee right now?
No.
Okay, so we have a Jewish entity that believes that Israel should play nice with Hamas.
Well, one of the founders actually said that of J Street, creating Israel was a mistake. It was originally funded by George Soros. Okay, does that help? It was made popular. Obama pushed them. They actually threw, when he was meeting with the quote-unquote Jewish leadership, he threw out some of the pro-Israel groups and brought in J Street, okay? So that's why this election is more important than ever. The World Zionist Congress has been meeting every year since, I think it's 1896. Okay, every 5 years, excuse me. And this is the 5th year. And I'm running on the Heirut slate, which basically believes in the concepts outlined by Zev Jabotinsky, who was a great Zionist philosopher. Okay, so this is what I need people to do. It's really important. Now, take out your pens.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and you have to be American and Jewish to vote. Okay, and you got to vote for Slate 10, which is Heirut. And you got to go to www.zionistelection.org.
Okay, all right.
www.zionistelection.org.
Election.org. Okay. I just put that in chat.
Great. And you got to go there. You got to basically register, and the way you register is you have to pay $7.50. Okay, and there's a reason for that, because it funds the World Zionist Congress spends about $1 billion a year on pro-Israel projects.
Okay.
And that's what part of the money goes towards.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Cool. And really, I need your help. And if you vote, or if you can't vote because you're not American or Jewish, and you know someone who's American or Jewish, tell them to vote.
Okay. Jeff Dunitz, we're talking to Jeff Dunitz right now of lidblog.com.
Now, the other big news.
Okay. Hey. Let's back up a little bit before we get into the politics stuff, because I want to cover just two more things so that people know. Okay, I've got in chat where you need to go to vote for you. www.zionistelection.org. Okay, so people can see that. You register first at $7.50. Now,
and you can vote right there too.
Okay, so when people get in there, if they're A, American, and B, a Jew, my next question was, do they have to be, thank you very much, and that's really important. Come the second hour. I did. Thank you for the Kleenex. And, what? Wait, what? Anyway, the other thing is, is there a minimum height, like Michael Bloomberg? Do you have to be a certain height before you can vote, unlike Michael Bloomberg?
No, you have to be over 18.
Okay, you have to be over 18. All right. Now, when they get in there, Jeff Dunitz, and they want to vote for you, where do they look and how should they vote? In other words, what should they be looking for to vote for you?
Looking for Slate 10.
Slate 10. Okay.
Which is Heirut, Herut.
Okay. Vote for...
There are 108 people on the slate, so it's not just me. You're voting for the slate. It's kind of like a parliamentary type election.
Okay. Now, all that stuff that you just told me, I put into the chat room, folks, the only official chat room for the Saloon. I see people chatting in YouTube and I see people chatting in Facebook. Please, pretty please, with sugar on top, come on over to shrmedia.com. Come on over to shrmedia.com. That's where everybody is right now. Jeff is in there. The Alaskan is in there. Mike is in there. Dave is in there. One viewer is in there. So please come on over. shrmedia.com. That's where the chat room is. And if you want to find out more information, that's where I post it, and other people that are here post the information as well. So, Jeff, thanks for doing that. Oh, and Lid... Oh, dang it. All right, let's see. This is... Also, I'm putting in chat room. This is where you can find Jeff's blog. I just put that in there, too. lidblog.com, where you can see the lid with Jeffrey Dunitz. Shall we get into politics, sir?
Well, I just want to make sure that, now that Bloomberg says that crime only happens in black neighborhoods and they arrest too many white people, I just want to make sure everyone agrees with him.
Okay, let's see. When you heard that, did you not say to yourself, holy crap, A, it's unearthed, and B, did you have any question whatsoever as to who unearthed this? Because I didn't.
It was someone, I think it was Bernie.
I would guess so. Okay, I have this cut. I have this audio cut. I'm going to play it for you right now. I was going to play it a little bit later, but Jeff decided to go there right now. So actually tonight, Jeff and I spoke about this before we started the show because, technology screws me over so frequently. I want to make sure that I can contact people over the telephone or whatever communication device we happen to be using at the time, whether it's string and tin cans. Tonight it happens to be talking over the teleola phone. In any event, I have 2 audio cuts for everyone tonight. The first one is about a minute. It says 1 minute and 3. And if that wasn't apparently bad enough, well, there's a second audio cut that just came out today, I think, either today or late yesterday. And it's only about 15 or 20 seconds, if that. But it's even worse than the first one. I saw these, then I listened to them, and I thought, okay, now this is going to be really interesting to see how leftists, the Democrats, and the American media maggots react to this is Bloomberg on audio saying this stuff. So, folks, what I'd like to do, and Jeff, is I want to play the first one. It's about a minute or so. I'll be quiet as it's playing. You're going to have to listen carefully, but you will be able to hear it. So here's Bloomberg. I'm not sure what year this is from. 2015, 2014, right around in there. Anyway, here's Mike Bloomberg.
95% of your murderers and murder victims fit one MO. You can just take the description, Xerox it, and pass it out to all the cops. They are male, minorities, 15 to 21. That's true in New York. It's true in virtually every city. And that's where the real crime is. You've got to get the guns out of the hands of the people that get killed. So you want to spend the money, put a lot of cops in the street, put those cops where the crime is, which means in minority neighborhoods. So it's one of the unintended consequences is people say, oh my God, you are arresting kids for marijuana that are all minorities. Yes, that's true. Why? Because we put all the cops in the minority neighborhoods. Yes, that's true. Why do we do it? Because that's where all the crime is. And the way you get the guns out of the kids' hands is to throw them up against the wall and frisk them. And then they say, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to get caught, so they don't bring the gun. They still have a gun, but they leave it at home.
Okay, that's Michael Bloomberg. In case you didn't hear it, I don't think I have a transcript, but basically Michael Bloomberg is saying minority males 16 to 25 are responsible for the bulk of the crime in New York City. Now, whether or not that's accurate, I'm not going to even go there at this point because that's not the point of me playing this. The point of me playing this and having Jeff comment on it after the second audio cut is, how is something like this going to affect Michael Bloomberg? Or are the American media maggots simply going to treat this like they're going to spread something like kitty litter all over the Bloomberg poop? Well, here's the second audio cut. This one is 22 seconds. I think this is a little clearer. Let's see.
They just keep saying, oh, it's a disproportionate percentage of a particular ethnic group. That may be, but it's not a disproportionate percentage of those who witnesses and victims describe as committing the murder. In that case, incidentally, I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little.
Okay, stop right there. If you're splitting up listening to this by yourself, I want you to hear this last part because this is where things are going to cook off right here.
Stop whites too much.
Wait, I missed
it. We disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little. Incidentally, I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little.
Yeah. What?
Incidentally, I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little.
What, Mike?
In that case, incidentally, I think we disproportionately stop whites too much and minorities too little.
Okay, that's going to play real well. Jeff Dunnitz, do you have any comments on those?
Yeah, well, the first thing when I heard it, I actually checked the date because I thought it was April 1st.
Yeah. Or it was out of some, it was like the Babylon Bee gone wild.
Yeah, but the sick thing is that people don't understand Bloomberg. The man is a tyrant, okay? The man told people what to eat, what to drink. He even prevented women in city hospitals to start with using baby formula. They had to start with breastfeeding. I mean, no, this isn't bullshit. This is the truth. Okay, so for him to throw out something kind of racist like that, of course, they won't say it's racist because only Trump is racist.
Right.
But and I hear people on the television going, well, he did apologize a couple of months ago at a black church and almost cried. So he must be, that was old and we don't have to worry about it.
Okay. That makes up for everything then, I suppose, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I guess so. But, of course, the 10-year-old Trump audio about grabbing women, that was a big deal.
Right,
but this
right.
isn't.
Yeah, just remember that, folks. Remember your priorities. That Trump bad, OMB, Orange Man, bad, very important.
Right.
And also that he is, I love this. I've called him this ever since because you got to have a sense of humor is he's the guy with the dead orange cat on his head. But
well, look.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jeff. Go ahead. I was going to go in.
I have no problem with making fun of his hairstyle.
No, I don't. I don't either. It's so easy. It's like
right, but the fact is that he's been an excellent president. Okay.
Oh God, yes.
Make fun I'll make fun of it. Do you remember there was a Congressman Micah in Florida?
No. Refresh me.
Well, I used to see him on television and then call the station afterwards and say, okay, what does he feed that thing on his head? Okay. So, yeah, you know what? A lot of men, I mean, and there was once a picture of how he kind of did that comb-over thing.
You know...
You know what? I don't care.
No, I don't care either.
I don't even care that he's mean on Twitter.
No, I don't either. I was going to tell you this. What do we got? I got about 4 more minutes before the bottom of the hour break. I was going to tell you this. I don't do this customarily, but I got into a little bit of a Twitter kerfuffle with some leftist. I don't even know their name, and if I did remember it, I'm not going to tell anybody because they're immaterial. That said, oh, Trump is this, Trump is that, blah, 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 blah. And so I answered everything that this guy posted with either the picture of Trump saying, of a meme saying, still your president.
That's right.
And I also, my only other response was, I'm a results guy. This is the first guy we've ever had in the office who has made promises and done his level best to keep up with them.
That's right.
And then everyone is shocked, gobsmacked, when he holds to his promises. Well, weren't you listening? Didn't you hear him say he's going to do X, Y, and Z? Well, see, we're so customarily used to people, filleting the American public and then doing something completely different when they finally get into office. 2 interesting, happy stories today. Number 1, Andrew Yang. No, 3 stories today. Andrew Yang wrapped it up. The second story is Mike Bennett wrapped it up. And the third story, didn't see this coming, is Tom Steyer wrapped it up today. 3 Democrats said bye-bye. Any thoughts, Jeff?
Well,
yeah, besides laughter. Yeah.
You know what my problem with Andrew Yang is?
What? Besides everything. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I have a real problem with him because he wants a banned circumcision.
Oh, now that, okay. I was not aware of that.
For a Jew, and actually a Muslim, that's not bad, not good. And you know what? I think it's because he can't be circumcised. Okay, because there's no end to that prick. But anyway, bump.
Yeah, bump. This is interesting. We got to go to a break in about a minute. Folks, we're listening to Jeff Dunitz, commentator of commentators. I am blessed to have him on the show.
Okay. Steyer was a one-issue guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Global warming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not playing in Poughkeepsie.
And with Bennett, did anybody really remember before tonight that he was still in it?
No. A, I didn't. And B, if you could have asked me, if you'd pointed a 357 at my head and said, BZ, tell me one thing that Mike Bennett believes in or thinks in terms of a platform, I'd be dead.
I could tell you one thing.
Okay, what?
He thought he could be president.
Very good. Hey, we're going to be right back after this, folks. This is Jeff Dunitz. No, wait, I'm Jeff Dunitz. No, he's BZ. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
New show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Wow. Already this is a great show and it's making me laugh. Hey, welcome back, folks, to BC's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. Tonight we got Jeff Dunitz in the first hour. You can find me and follow me on Twitter at BZEP, at BZEP. You can friend, follow, and like the SHR Media Facebook page and subscribe to the SHR Media YouTube channel. Click notifications. Give all of our videos a great thumbs up. Great hosts, great videos, great shows. Our very own Dave Milner is in there. Dave is in chat right now. Welcome, Dave. And you can watch Dave's videos right in there. By the way, are you a supporter of the Second Amendment? I have a suggestion for you. You can join the USGOA on Facebook, run by Texas Fred. That's the U.S. Gun Owners Association. The U.S. Gun Owners Association, S-H-U-M. Spell it right, okay? Spelling counts, damn it. And you can go there quick like a bunny, and you can find him on Facebook. So, Jeff, welcome back.
Do you want me to explain my thesis on Klobuchar?
Yeah, she has not been on my radar very much. Let's see. She was, didn't she? She made fourth, didn't she?
She made third.
Third so far. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks and anybody fourth is far behind Warren, and then behind that is Biden. But the one of my problems with Amy Klobuchar is that she's a peeping Tom.
Oh
okay?
No!
Because in the August debate, okay, she said, "I don't think we should conduct foreign policy in a bathrobe at 5 a.m, which is what Trump does." Now, how the heck does she know what Trump is wearing at 5 a.m.?
Right?
Okay.
So good.
She must be
good
peeping
damn
through a
point.
White House window.
You nailed it once again, my brother from another mother. You nailed it. Okay, the last. I'm looking at a new poll now. These are the last numbers that I have. They're probably updated since then. And I want to talk about these results in this order now, if I can, with Jeff Dunitz of lidblog.com. Okay, so far it looks like Sanders is in the lead with, this is at least an hour ago, 27.5%. Buttigieg in the number 2 spot. There's something to be said there, but I'm not going there. At 22.9%. Amy Klobuchar, you're right, at third place, 20.6%. And Foco Warren at in fourth place at 12.5%. Not even on the board is Slow Joe 30330.
Well,
wow.
It's a lot closer now.
Wow.
Sanders is 25.7, Buttigieg is 24.4.
Okay.
And Klobuchar is 19 something.
Okay. So is it?
That's pretty close.
It's still in that order: Sanders, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, and Warren. And is Joe in number 5?
Sir. Joe is number 5 behind Warren.
Wow. Okay. Let's do this if we can. Jeff Dunitz.
Okay.
Owner of Lidblog. You're the DNC. You've been maneuvering to make sure that Bernie doesn't get anywhere ever since 2016.
Yes.
It seems now that Bernie Sanders is really starting to move along. That was pretty indicative from the Iowa. We don't even, correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff Dunitz, we don't even have any true verified results from Iowa yet.
It's not over yet because Buttigieg and Sanders has asked for a recount.
Iowa. I drove through you once in the summer. You were humid as hell. That's all I know about Iowa. But Sanders is sitting in the catbird seat right now. Buttigieg is number 2. Klobuchar came out of apparently nowhere. Warren, Lawrence, I can't think of the guy's last name from Fox, the tall black dude. Lawrence went to go talk to Sanders, or excuse me, to Elizabeth Warren after her great showing, and she wouldn't talk to him. Yeah, she wouldn't talk to him. So
you know why?
Can you think? Well, yeah, I know why, but Jeff Dunitz, why now do you think is Elizabeth Warren doing so poorly? I mean, for a while there, she was like neck and neck, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. What happened?
Part of the problem is that some of the time she acts like she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, even though she's talking about her own policy. Remember that whole thing about how she changed what she meant by universal health care 12 times?
Yeah, and she really has no way to pay for it.
She changed her health care policy more than I changed my underwear, okay?
That's true. That's
true. And I do that every day, okay? She was crazy, okay? And really all she is a Bernie Sanders light.
True.
So people went to Bernie.
Because they're really looking for big change.
Well, you know what? Bernie is a populist also. So he is to what the Democrats, what Trump was to the Republicans 4 years ago.
Yeah, if you lean that
in a way
that far left.
Well, yeah, but the thing is that again, he is a populist, and that's why he seems to be doing. And part of the problem is, I believe, is that the youngins. We grew up. We saw. We had to go under our desks once a month to do the nuclear drill because Russia was going to bomb us. And I don't think any of us would ever vote for a man who spent his honeymoon in Russia and who claims to be a socialist and maybe even more. But the youngins aren't taught that in school anymore.
No, and they have no concept of what socialism truly is and what it does and what it's been historically.
And the fact that over 100 million people have died because of socialism in the last century.
Well, ask a millennial or ask a Gen Zer or anyone of the younger ilk to define socialism, and then ask them to define how it is that socialism warps magically into communism, where the state owns everything, including you.
Well, socialism is the same thing. The state owns you. But the way they make the transition to a full-blown communism is by killing people.
What? I understand why Bernie is going up. I also understand why the DNC absolutely cannot let Bernie win, because Bernie, one of the first things that he would do is he would excise the power and influence, meaning the money that the DNC so desperately needs. He would cut that all off at the knees, and the Republicans aren't going to do that. So,
but the problem is that they're between a rock and a hard place.
They are,
because if they let Bernie win, okay, he's going to get destroyed. Not even forget the money. The money, yes, you're 100% right. Money is like mother's milk to a politician.
God, yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. But Trump will kill him. Trump would absolutely kill him. On the other hand, if Bernie should win and they take it away from him, that's like 20 to 30% of the Democrats who are going to stay home. So Trump will win by a landslide.
And
I think he deserves to, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes, exactly. It's a conundrum of their own making. They painted themselves into this corner
because they allowed themselves to become radical leftists. I mean, we got in trouble every time we said it, but Obama was a socialist. Ooh, they're going to come yell at me, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was. Matter of fact, the first time he ran for office, he ran under the flag of the New Party, it was called, which is a Chicago Marxist party.
Wow. Okay. The New Party. Okay. Wasn't aware of that.
Yes. If you want, I looked up their newsletters.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, I have the evidence and other people had the evidence, but the thing is that you couldn't say that because if you criticized Obama like that, you were a racist. It didn't matter that he was an anti-Semite that no one covered, but if you said anything about him, God forbid, you're a racist. As a matter of fact, if you said anything about his policies, you're a racist.
And you're still a racist. Right, exactly. You're not even addressing the individual themselves. Absolutely correct.
Well, right. And to be honest, when Obama first got into office, Media Matters?
Yes.
They called me an anti-Semite. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's really intelligent. Jeff Dunitz, folks, we're
And
talking.
they did it on a Saturday when I'm not online because it's the Jewish Sabbath.
Well, that's like cheating. Okay, that's cheating.
Well, no, because I was writing for Breitbart at the time when Andrew was alive, and all the editors spent all day beating them up. And when I got onto Twitter that night after sundown, I had like 400 tweets about me because, we were a team and we protected each other.
It's good to have friends. It's always good to have friends.
Yep.
Folks, we're talking to Jeff Dunitz of lidblog.com. Lidblog, LIDBLOG.com. Doo-da, ragmop, doodle-doo-doo-doo, lidblog, doodle-doo-doo-doo.
But let me tell you what's going to happen now.
Yeah, let's talk about who's in and who's out. Let me ask you this, Jeff Dunitz. Butt Gig, what happens to him? Does he have staying power?
Well, he has now. He certainly has momentum. He has a problem with African Americans. Okay, bigger than what Bloomberg just did. They don't like him. They didn't like him when he was mayor. Oh, and you want to hear something funny?
Are you going to tell me about certain personnel that he fired?
No, screw that.
Okay.
He was talking before a black audience, and someone asked him about, all the campaign cash coming from what we would call dark money.
Uh-huh.
Except he screwed up and called it black money.
Again, folks, as I say, and I've been seeing for quite some time.
That was a mess up, though.
You can't.
Wasn't
You can't write this stuff. The stuff writes itself.
I did, though. I wrote it and put up the video.
As well you should.
Because it was funny.
It was funny. Also, the other thing that was not mentioned by Jeff is that while the mayor of some rinky-dink little town in Iowa, because that's where he got all his street cred, he did two very important things as far as he's concerned. Let's see. He fired the chief of police. Okay, I guess he didn't like the chief of police. And then he fired the chief of the fire department. And I guess he didn't like him either.
And they were both African American.
Both of those guys were black, so maybe that's why there's no massive love lost between Butt Gig and the black American community.
Bingo. So when this thing goes south, to the southern states, he's not going to do as well.
No.
However, Super Tuesday is coming.
Yeah.
And one of the states in Super Tuesday this time is California. You've heard of that state, right?
I believe I have. I believe.
I
yes.
understand it's pretty liberal.
I don't know, kind of, maybe a little.
Well, I think that probably Bernie will do well there.
Oh, Bernie will do very well here.
But they have to start rallying around for the moderate line. And on the moderate line, you have supposedly Buttigieg. Now, when I say moderate, I mean moderate for a Democrat. Okay. So you got Buttigieg. You have Bloomberg.
Right.
You have Klobuchar. Biden, like I said, is dead man walking.
Okay. Jeff Dunitz, can we talk Biden for a moment? Because there's one.
Oh, sure.
There's one thing I noticed.
Do I have to talk about it in Ukrainian?
No, not at all. No, not at all.
Okay, good.
I noticed this, and this was like people went yeet and zipped up their mouths, and the American media maggots threw the zipper away. Joe Biden dropped 22 points in 2 weeks with American black voters in a Quinnipiac poll. That's just in 2 weeks. Then
and who picked it up?
What's that?
And who picked it up?
That's That's an interesting point. Who do you believe picked it up?
Bloomy.
No.
Picked up some of it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. Okay, yes, I get that. Joe Biden, it's like in chat somebody was talking about Greta Thunberg, and I was trying to get in there to write in chat. I wonder if Joe Biden fantasizes about coming up behind Greta Thunberg and just placing his cold hands on top of her shoulders.
Ew.
For him, that's kind of fetishist, I think. So Jeff Dunitz, is Joe Biden done? Is he done? Is he gone?
Yeah. He might not be dropping. He's not going to drop out until after South Carolina. But I think that he's going to find the money is dropping out. And when you look at the South Carolina polls, yeah, he's leading. But, that's kind of condensing also. I think let me look. The last South Carolina poll, where was it? He got 31%, and Steyer had 18%. So, and Steyer's gone. So, you know what? He might be okay till South Carolina. But I got to tell you something. After that, you can stick a fork in him. I think, South Carolina isn't for more than 2 weeks. And there's going to be a lot of, is he going to drop out? How low is he going to go? And, you talk down about people like that, it's going to go. And his money's going to go.
Here's what I haven't understood. In the past 2 weeks, mostly in the past week, he's been getting in the face, literally and figuratively, of potential voters for Joe Biden. I don't understand.
But it's been longer than that.
I don't understand that tactic. But the first thing after, especially, what did he call him? He called some chick
a dog-faced
pony soldier, right?
And that was a woman.
And I thought, okay. The immediate excuse was, he's just playing around. But
she didn't think so.
If I didn't get it, and she didn't get it, and other people didn't get it, why would you be saying that? Don't you want her to vote for you? I don't get that at all. But I think that's his nature. That's part of his nature, and he's losing, and we're seeing the true Joe Biden.
He's a cranky old man. If you
is.
remember, a couple of months ago in Iowa, he told this guy, called him a damn liar and a fat guy, and challenged him to a push-up contest.
Yeah, you know who Joe Biden reminds me of? Does anybody know Jeff?
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham. He reminds me of Jeff Dunham's dummy, Walter. Walter is Joe Biden. I finally realized that last month. Walter
Can I ask you something?
is Joe Biden. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Have you ever seen Biden and Walter in the same place at the same time?
Wait a minute. Hang on. Just 1 second.
It's like, I've never seen you and Batman at the same time. And I'm not saying you're Batman, but I've never seen you two at the same time.
Okay. Now,
it's the same thing with Walter.
If I had a producer, you would have heard something. So, Jeff, ask me that question again about Walter and Joe Biden.
Have you ever seen Walter and Joe Biden at the same place at the same time? Exactly.
And the answer would be no.
Now, if anybody goes on the internet and looks up Walter and Joe Biden, you'll see there are like tons of separated at birth pictures.
Oh, there have to be.
They really do look alike.
There have to be. We got about 5 minutes before the top of the hour. And I want to ask you this final question, and we've been talking to Jeff Dunitz for the first hour tonight, and I thank you ever so kindly.
I like that guy.
I like that guy. I do too. It's still relatively early. It's only February 11th, It's almost February 12th where you are on the East Coast, but it's early. When things shake out, who do you think will be the who is going to be here for the Democrats in the long haul, do you think, Jeff Dunitz?
Okay, I'll give you three names.
Okay.
Bloomberg. Because he's gonna spend $1 billion on the primaries. Look, he doesn't have to beg for money. He's got it.
Oh, no.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Bernie.
Yes.
Because he's a socialist. And, I think maybe Klobuchar. And let me tell you why. Because the reason why she got very popular very fast is that she did a great job at the last debate. And she impressed a lot of people. So in that order, it'll definitely be Bernie.
Okay.
I definitely think that it would be great to see Bloomberg and Bernie debate. A capitalist versus a socialist. Okay, and maybe Klobuchar. And the thing is that if Klobuchar comes up, then it'll be Bernie as the nominee, because she will take from Bloomberg, not from Bernie.
Okay.
Because she is kind of in a democratic way a moderate. But do you know who's a really crazy candidate?
Go ahead.
Okay, her name is
McGill, but she calls herself Lil,
No.
but everyone knew her as Nancy.
Her name is Bree. Oh God, what's her last name? She's running against Sanders. She's running against Sanders. She's running against. Oh God. Wait a second. Let me stop for a second.
Okay. All right.
She is running against the Collins. Okay, in Maine.
Oh, Susan Collins in Maine?
Yeah. And this is a Democrat socialist, who is handing out T-shirts calling for a revolution that have a guillotine on it, on the T-shirt.
Jesus. I say you can't write this.
I don't know if she remembers, but this guy Robespierre was big on the guillotine also.
Yeah, he was.
And people said he was angry and he'd always yell and scream, but no, he just only lost his head once.
Yeah, I think they tried crazy glue back then. The crazy glue back then was not as good as it is today, which I think was the biggest problem they had. Final question before we hit the top of the hour break, and I thank Jeff Dunitz for being here, is will the Democrats disintegrate? Will they dissolve? And are we looking at perhaps a brokered convention with Wonder Woman sweeping in from the wings?
No. You know what? You know how many times that I've seen people predict brokered conventions? People were talking about the Republican convention last time being brokered at the early point.
Okay.
I just don't see it. I don't think that the party establishment will allow that.
Okay, so you think it will continue. It'll be a clown car. It'll be a shit show. But it will still retain some aspect of adherence overall when they go up to when they go up to the convention.
I just can't see it. I know some people are saying yes, but I've never seen. Last time we had a brokered convention, believe it or not, was Gerald Ford versus Ronald Reagan.
So you're looking at history, and essentially what you're saying, Jeff Dunitz, is history is indicating to you probably not.
Probably not.
Okay. Got to have you back. Folks, it's time for a break.
We'll know after Super Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
But I can make one prediction, 100%.
Okay. Please.
Okay, Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think that's a great
I even
thing.
put money on that one.
I'll put any amount of money that you guys want on that. Folks, we've been talking to Jeff Dunitz. We're going to hit a break. When we come back, I have 2 audio cuts for you about the coronavirus that I guarantee you have not heard. One was relatively easy to get. You just have to look for it. The second is unobtainium. It is made of unobtainium, but I'm not creating this. This came my way. I'm not saying where, but I'm saying that at the end of the break here, tune back in. Then once I play these for you and we have a little tete-a-tete back and forth, I'm going to play an interview that Tucker Carlson had with Adam Carolla in Southern California. And this interview nails, absolutely, Adam Carolla nails the mindset of California politicians and administrators up and down the state of California. Always spell it with a K. And folks, I will be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the sumptuous, palatial, and resplendent SHR Media Studios, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, always spell it with a K, 2 miles east of the Bill Mill downtown, the locus of evil on the entire left coast at 10th and L Street, the Capitol building in Sacramento, where when I leave that door right over there that I'm pointing to right now, late at night, I will hear the wails of the death of common sense. And I'll smell, even though I have a terrible nose, I will smell the wafting stench of sulfur and brimstone emanating from that building. I told you for some time that I am of two minds about the coronavirus. And I have 2 audio cuts to play for you. I don't know for a fact, obviously, how this will go. Listening to these, however, does not make me joyful. The first is an audio cut from Tom Cotton speaking in the Senate. And I don't believe that you have heard this. The second is an audio cut from inside China itself. I'm going to play both. The first one from Tom Cotton, the second from a source in China. Then we're going to talk about how it appears to be affecting some other people, and then if you want to chat about it, we can go ahead and do that as well. Here is the first audio cut, and this is from Tom Cotton. Very interesting what he says.
In the world, the Wuhan coronavirus. This coronavirus is a catastrophe on the scale of Chernobyl for China. But actually, it's probably worse than Chernobyl, which was localized in its effect. The coronavirus could result in a global pandemic. While you were all sleeping overnight, the number of diagnosed cases in China increased by 30%. Now, let me be clear, that's not new cases, that is just newly admitted cases. It is probably several orders of magnitude higher than that. Also, while you were sleeping, China now has its entire border with Russia closed. 2,600 miles, Russia has closed that border. El Al has shut down travel between Israel and China. Air France has shut down travel between China and France. And that's in addition to all the other countries that have already shut down travel. From what we know so far, and there's still many unknowns, this virus could have both a long incubation period, as much as 14 days, and individuals could be contagious while asymptomatic, which was not the case with SARS in 2003. Furthermore, from some cases, it appears the virus could be aerosolized, which means it doesn't require the kind of contact that you have with, say, a married couple kissing each other or a family living in close quarters in a hotel or apartment, but rather the distances we are all sitting apart right now. Yet China is still lying about all of this. They've been lying about it from the very beginning, and you don't need their history of lying about SARS in 2003, though it is relevant here. You just have to see what's happened over the last 2 months. We now know that the first case manifested no later than December 1, even though China didn't reveal it to the WHO until a month later on December 31st. When they continued to hide it from their own citizens. And they continued to say that it had been contained inside Wuhan. Today, it is in every single province in China. They also claimed for almost 2 months, until earlier this week, that it had originated in a seafood market in Wuhan.
Mm-hmm.
That locals had contracted it from animals in, say, bat soup or snake tartare. That is not the case. The Lancet published a study last weekend demonstrating that of the original 40 cases, 14 of them had no contact with the seafood market, including patient 0. As one epidemiologist said, that virus went into the seafood market before it came out of the seafood market. We still don't know where it originated. Could have been another seafood market. Could have been a farm. Could have been a food processing company. I would note that Wuhan also has China's only biosafety level 4 super laboratory that works with the world's most deadly pathogens, to include, yes, coronavirus.
Coincidence.
Now, look at China's own actions. They have quarantined 60 million people, 60 million, more than the entire population of our West Coast. They've shut down schools indefinitely. Classes canceled nationwide indefinitely. Hong Kong, a part of China, has basically shut down all travel from the mainland. That's why it is essential that we immediately stop all travel on commercial aircraft between China and the United States.
Hell yes.
Making exceptions, of course, for American citizens to come back, as we just brought back yesterday. Allowing essential trade to flow as long as crews on ships and aircraft are not allowed to go into the general population in America, and making exceptions, of course, for medical personnel to go into China to try to get a handle on this. It is essential that we take those steps, and essential that we get to the bottom of China's deceit and incompetence on this measure. And gentlemen, I raise this with you because you are responsible in your combatant commands for some countries that have the most fragile public institutions, to include the most fragile public health institutions in the world. So I ask, even though as of this morning there are not yet confirmed cases of coronavirus in your combatant commands, though I suspect there will be soon, what is your assessment about the ability of the governments in your combatant commands to handle a potential global pandemic like this? General Townsend.
Thanks, Senator. So there are not, that I'm aware of, any confirmed cases, as you mentioned, but there are some suspected cases. The first report of suspected case I've heard of is in Djibouti, which you would imagine with the significant Chinese presence there. So the capacity of African nations to deal with this problem varies widely. For example, in Eastern Africa, Central East Africa, they've been dealing with Ebola, and they've been dealing with Ebola largely on their own and doing a pretty good job of it. So I think capacity there, but anywhere else in Africa is probably not to that degree.
Admiral Fowler.
The Venezuela crisis has already strained the social services of many of the nations. As you're aware, Senator, we had to deploy the hospital ship Comfort twice in 1 year, to last deployment 12 different nations, and in one 5-day span it can do the equivalent of a whole month for a region of some of the major countries. So I would be extremely concerned. Like General Townsend, the capacities vary widely, but in many cases they're strained, and to the limit I'd be very concerned if we saw this spread.
Thank you. As a defensive measure, I just say again, it is essential that we shut down all commercial air travel immediately between the United States and China. As an offensive measure, because that probably won't stop it entirely, and because if it becomes a global pandemic, we have to deal with countries with very limited capabilities here. We need a Manhattan Project level effort to work with our best research scientists and laboratories in this country to develop a vaccine as quickly as possible.
You didn't hear that. That's a fairly lengthy cut. It's about 5 minutes or so. It's out there in the ozone if you look for it. I have another audio cut that I'm going to attempt to play because it came to me in a format that I'm not familiar with. And I'm going to attempt to play it. This is from the interior of China. I have it downloaded. Let me see if I can play this.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's 3 o'clock p.m. Hanoi time, Vietnam, February 9th.
Hanoi,
China is in total chaos. It's breaking through into Beijing, 100 miles away from Shanghai. 100 million now are quarantined, prepared for 7,500 dead bodies per day within 3 days in China. The Imperial College of London professor Neil Ferguson estimated that China is already experiencing 50,000 new infections per day. And given the 15% to 17% mortality rate that has now been triple-D confirmed, those numbers will within a few weeks translate into 7,500 new deaths per day. That Vietnamese military is silently and quietly establishing field hospitals here, thousands upon thousands of beds, really on command. Like I said, I'm on the front lines in Hanoi. It hasn't spread yet to numbers that are in China, but while the total numbers are not yet clear, at minimum hundreds of bodies are being cremated per day, sometimes up to 900 per day in certain crematories. So the cremation vans are running 24/7 on the streets of Hubei province, and we are now at a pinnacle point. Now China is facing a pandemic apocalypse scenario that threatens the entire nation and the power base of its communist regime. I'll keep you up to date, but God be with you.
All I can say is it got my attention. And with luck, it's getting your attention too. Imagine yourself, however, in this situation. And I've been on 4 Holland America cruises before. There are passengers stuck on a Holland America cruise ship called the Westerdam. They're stranded at sea because they were refused entry to Thailand because of fears of coronavirus. The cruise ship, the Westerdam, it left Hong Kong on February 1st. Okay, today's the 11th. That's 10 days out now. They've already been refused entry to the Philippines. They were refused entry to Japan. They were refused entry to numerous ports in Taiwan. And they were refused entry at South Korea and Guam. So port authorities in all those places don't know, but they have cited fears that passengers may be carrying the coronavirus, despite the ship's operator saying that they have no reason to believe that there are any cases on board. And as of Monday night, last night, the company said the ship would be allowed to dock in Lam Chabang, Bangkok, this Thursday. But then early that morning, the decision was reversed. Permission to disembark has been refused by the Thai public health minister. There are people on these ships saying they've been there 9 days at sea. There's another individual that's saying that in another ship, I do not know the name of this ship, saying that as I last saw the story, they haven't eaten on this ship for 24 hours because they're attempting to determine whether the dissemination of food is responsible for people contracting the coronavirus on that ship. Apparently, there are in fact, cases of the coronavirus. Now, as I am of two minds about this, I am definitely not of two minds about what I'm going to suggest. And what I'm going to suggest may sound like raving lunacy, but there's a very salient reason why I'm going to recommend it. Because having done what I've done for 41 years, I have a pretty good estimation as to how people react in a panic and in a pack, in a group. And overall, the response to that is generally not good. So what I would recommend, and what I am doing, is while you still can, go out and get as much bottled water as possible. Go out and get, if you have a freezer, as much food as possible, canned and otherwise. Make sure that you have a radio. Make sure that you have equipment. Make sure that you have defensibles. Make sure that you have everything that you could possibly need, not necessarily for a pandemic per se, but should everything fall apart around you, and make sure you have enough for at least a month, maybe 2 months. Now, I'm saying this not because I think the coronavirus is the end of the world. We lose many, many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people to the common flu every year in all across the United States, here in California. Now, I'm one of the two groups of individuals who could potentially be greatest affected by the coronavirus and the flu. The very, very young and the very, very old, like me, because I ain't young no mo. So perhaps, did I just hear Sackhead Sean peek his head in here and said, nope? Damn it when he agrees with me. The reason I suggest the food, the meds, the water, the equipment, etc., is not necessarily because of the coronavirus itself. It will be because of the reaction of the bulk of people to coronavirus. I've already discovered that it's affecting what you can and cannot buy. For example, if you think that you're going to go out right now and purchase an N95 mask, which are the little clampy masks that you see that cover most people's faces, even if you have the little rebreather apparatus on it, if you think you're going to walk into any store right now in the United States or order them over the internet anywhere in the United States, you would be terribly wrong. I've tried. You can't. They're out. They're on back order. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I purchased probably 100 to 150 of those things, plus a whole lot of other stuff. So let me remind you, if you think that there's the slightest chance that this could go south in your area, your state, I recommend you get lots of bottled water, lots of food, lots of meds, and not necessarily due to the coronavirus itself or the ability of it to be transferable, but because of the reaction that you're going to see in the general public when it comes directly into your city, your town, your neighborhood, and it's announced on your local TV stations. Then you're going to see everyone and his brother run to the store, and the shelves will be gone. Do it now while you're still listening to me. Do it now while you're thinking about your kids. Go get your meds. Go get your equipment. Go get your food. Go get your water. And if I'm full of crap and nothing happens, guess what? You have some water, and you have some food, and you have some meds, and you haven't really lost anything. As Dave points out in chat, we lost millions of people in the 1918 to 1919 flu epidemic. If I'm not mistaken, we lost about either a quarter or a third of the world's population from that. And that's when people were a lot more stupid and a lot more ignorant on how to treat that. The difference between then and now is that diseases like coronavirus are so much more readily transferable from nation to nation because of air travel than at any point ever in our history. And you heard Tom Cotton mention an index case. That's the person that is first noted to have shipped this around, so to speak. So if you happen to be in the two major affected groups, or you have friends, relatives, etc., your own kids, babies, young children, or old folks, fat, ugly, like myself, you will potentially be the most affected people around. I am not taking a chance. I would suggest that you not take a chance. Mike, I know that. So I would... this Dave in chat has some very interesting statistics that he just put up in chat. More than one half of the casualties from World War I were from the flu. The flu infected 25% of United States troops during the war, killing more than 1 million men, according to a War Department record. The flu caused 500,000 deaths in the United States. In the States alone, 25 million people became ill. 24 out of the 36 military camps in the United States experienced an influenza outbreak. 30 of the 50 largest cities suffered from an excess mortality from the influenza. So it's not like we haven't dealt with this before. But I'm making these suggestions to you because I know and have seen the reactions, deleterious and negative, of groups. And when it becomes local, not if, but when it becomes local, we already have coronavirus reported in, I wish I could. There is a website. I'm going to see if I can find this website during the break. I think it's a WHO website. But it shows you roughly in real time the number of people and the areas affected around the world. Let me see if I can find that website and put it up in chat. Like I say, the Bay Area, already here. Fresno, which is about 4 hours south of Sacramento, which is where I am right now, already here. And if you think it's not coming to your locality, your county, your state, you would be glaringly wrong. Now, is it just preternaturally more inherently ugly, dangerous, mean, eye-ripping, etc. than the standard Mark I Model 1 flu? I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says one way or the other. Maybe the governments are keeping us in the loop. Maybe they're not. But with the history of governments these days, do you really want to take the chance? And do you really want to attempt to go to the store one day, not having heard about any of this, walk into the store, see everyone wearing masks, and notice that there's very little on the shelves? Not necessarily because of the potential lethality of the coronavirus, but because I know how people respond when something like this is facing them directly in their little Gesicht. So, Mike, hang on. I'm going to go to a break a little bit early. We're going to come back, take phone calls. I've got a great interview with Tucker Carlson and Adam Carolla. And if you guys want to keep talking about stuff, that's fine. When we come back, the phone number is 575-208-4481. And if you're watching live on the SHR Media YouTube channel or the SHR Media Facebook page, you can see there's a little runner down there which gives the phone number, 575-208-4481. It's not Skype. I'm low tech. It's just a phone. That's as techie as I happen to get these days. Let me see if I can find that website. If I can during the break, I will put it up in chat. And when I come back, I think Mike said he's on the phone. We'll come back to Mike. And if you guys want to call, that's fine. We'll chat about anything, everything that you want to. If no phone calls, well, you wouldn't be surprised if I had a lot of stuff to talk to you about, including a ton of happy stories. You wouldn't be surprised about that, would you? Nah, I didn't think you would. Be right back after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back. It is the final 25, the last 25 minutes. It's the last call for alcohol, right here on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show. You want to call in? You can do it right after Mike. Mike is up next. The number is, maybe if I put the number on, then you would see that, and you could call if you're interested, 575-208-4481. That number in Brazil, 575-208-4481. The number in Lodi, 575-208-4481. The number in Bolivia, well, there is no number in Bolivia, so don't call me from Bolivia right now. Mike, are you there? Do you happen to be there, sir?
I am here. The number in Bolivia is almost as unknown as you telling the time in Bolivia, right?
That's true. That's right. It's so lengthy that number one, you can never remember that number. Hey, I forgot something to tell you guys, though, on the break, is if you're a fan of the Second Amendment, go quick like a bunny over to the Facebook page, the U.S. Gun Owners Association, the USGOA, and join up. Texas Fred will vet you if you want to find out the best in guns, gear, reviews, etc. The U.S. Gun Owners Association, USGOA, on Facebook. Okay, having said that, Mike, what's up with you tonight, sir?
Just an aside with those two clips you said. One was what you call unobtainium. To those who may not know, because you might not have seen the movie where that came from, it came from a movie called The Core. That was what the little ship that they took to the center of the earth to fix the earth was made out of, unobtainium.
Unobtainium. See, I've always liked that. I thought that was a great, just a great name for something. And every once in a while it comes out of my mouth. And sometimes I have to shove it back in. But yeah, unobtainium. Yeah, it was kind of unobtainium for me. Any thoughts about politics, etc., Mr. Mike?
Well, here's the deal. You're talking about, before I get to the politics, you're talking about viruses and stuff that travel around. Just remember this: if you've ever watched the history of the Dark Ages and what happened with the plague and how it traversed the known world at that point, and it took a while, but it went relatively fast because it took them a couple of months to get from the Middle East to Greece and places like that, and that's how it traversed the world. Now, nowadays, you look at it, it only takes a plane flight, and that's no more than a half a day from some places to the United States,
Well, if there was ever a means in which things have become transferable almost beyond human ken, it's because of plane flights. Because you can be in the furthest points that you can imagine on the planet on a plane. You might have to make a couple of layovers. I don't know. What's it take from the United States to Australia? Jack might know. Oh, Jack's not there. Oh, goodbye, Jack. In any event, I think it takes, I'm guessing, 14 hours to get to Australia from the United States. So, despite saying that, though, in a day, you can be in almost the opposite side of the planet if you fly. So that sounds like a perfect vector for making sure that things are spread rapidamente. The other problem with this is its incubation period, which is 2 weeks. So you can have it, you can be spreading it, and show no symptoms whatsoever, thinking that you're perfectly nifty, when in fact there is a severe lack of niftiness within you, and you may very well be a carrier of the coronavirus. Mike, anything else, sir?
Yeah. You talk about the law of unintended consequences on your show and walking through particular doors.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Think about this. BG. If Creepy Joe ends up winning, think about what happens if the Congress, if the House flips and he's the president. Think about that.
Well, okay, let me ask you a question in reverse. Joe Biden, I don't think, is not nearly as lefty as he's been forced to be. But he wants to be competitive. So in today's environment, he's attempting to be, ridiculously so at times, because it's just not him, I don't think. He has to be in order to make any kind of a competition out of it, as leftist as everyone else. And he's been saying the things that he's been caught saying the exact opposite of in as little as, 5-6 years ago. So let's say, as you postulate, if he walks into the Oval Office, will he continue being as leftist as he's displaying now? Or will he tend to go back to being, yeah, he's a Democrat, but he's going to be a little bit more moderate? Any thoughts?
I think he's more in line with what Bill Clinton did. You know, a guy who will tack to the left to win the primary, but tack to the center to win the general election. Now, my point was, what happens after that if the House flips? You know what because of what he did for his son, you know what the Republicans were probably going to try and do, and that goes to the law of unintended consequences with what they did with the Democrats did with our current president. You know, think about it. I mean, he said, "Son of a bitch, you got fired," and I did it, and I got him fired. You know, and that proves that he did what they're accusing Trump. That he did what they're accusing Trump that Trump did. You know, that Trump didn't do. So you could very well be looking at a possible impeachment of a Joe Biden, and I don't think, and that's probably one of the big reasons why I don't think he's going to be the nominee.
Well, let's put it this way, Mike. Thanks for calling. Louis Gohmert from Texas has already said that they would start impeachment proceedings almost immediately if Biden won the election. Because, just as you said that I said, the laws of unintended consequences, when you open a major door and you walk through, expect other people to walk through with you. And that'll happen. However, let me say this. Would you not love to see Donald Trump debate Joe Biden? Guys both in their 70s. One probably couldn't tell you the salad dressing that he had from his prior lunch. The other one would make mincemeat of the first. Because if there's one thing that I've heard constantly and forever about Donald Trump, is he gets about 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. He wakes up, he works, he outworks everyone else. He goes everywhere, he does everything, and people half his age or less have a tough time keeping up with him. I'm going to replay this segment now. It's about a dystopia that's going on in California. Always spell it with a K. And when I saw it originally, this is an interview by Tucker Carlson of Adam Carolla, who, by the way, is he leans fairly left, but he's a pretty reasonable guy. But because he lives in Southern California, he is directly affected by California. And he's made some wonderful observations that Tucker Carlson has pulled out of him about how things really work in California and why why administrators, various police departments, politicians, local and state, are so afraid these days. It was so insightful, I gotta play it for you guys right now.
City in America, but the
Okay. All right. Let's try that again. First, we have to refresh. And give me a second here, if you would. Technology is wonderful. Let's see. This is, I think, by the way, this is about 10 minutes or so.
So we've been in LA all week, driving around, probably the prettiest city in America, but the blight of homelessness is impossible to ignore. It seems to be getting worse. Why is that?
Breakdown of the rule of law. No one wants to enforce laws around here. What I've figured out from living here my entire life, I mean, I was born sort of 3 miles that way, and now I live 3 miles that way. California and LA especially sort of broken the citizens into two groups. There's the groups that have money, and then there are the empty bags. They don't have any money. So if you have money and you're in that group and you pay your taxes, you'll get pulled over and get a ticket for not having a front license plate. Everybody I know in LA has been pulled over for not having a front license plate. But if you're homeless or you're illegal or you're not in the system, then you're essentially an empty bag and they can't get money out of you. In fact, they cost the city money. So anything that costs the city money, they're not that good at, but they're really good at parking enforcement, and they're really good at permits and building permits and fines, and anything where there's money to be had, they're super efficient at it. And the homeless don't have checking accounts.
Bingo.
So there's nothing in it for them.
So they just don't care.
Well, they would care if they owed them money and they had money and they could get money from them. They care greatly about people who have checkbooks, but they've really divided the entire city into those who pay and those who can't. And if you can't, they're not that interested.
So you're describing the way a predator looks at dinner. Right. Kind of like, you're not worth eating, you are. That's not the way government should look at its citizens.
If you go 3 miles from here, there's Forest Lawn Drive, because there's a big mortuary on Forest Lawn.
Listen to this.
On one side of the street, there are a whole bunch of people that are here illegally selling flowers with no permits and no licenses and no business and no anything, just selling them on the street to people who are going up to visit dead Nana. On the other side of the street, there's a cop with a radar gun waiting for soccer moms who are going 42 miles an hour in a 35 to write them up. The cop is not interested in what's going on the other side of the street, which is illegal behavior, because they don't have any money and they don't have any documentation, and they're not going to cut the court a check. On this side of the street, the soccer mom has a checking account and they're going to ring her up.
So it's funny you mention that, because I just read the state of California is planning to charge poor people half price on speeding tickets.
Right. Well, that's their way of attempting to try to get some money out of people that don't have money. But it really is if you're ultra rich in California, then you don't care. If you're Barbara Streisand, what do you care about a speeding ticket or no front license plate or whatever it is? And if you're ultra poor, you're untouchable because you can't get blood out of a turnip. There's nothing there. There's nothing. You can't pay them. It's the middle.
So California can't use you if you're poor. You're not worth anything to them unless they're virtue signaling. You get this now?
Who gets the crap kicked out of them here in Los Angeles? You take this building we're sitting in. I was looking at renting it out.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This is a typical business in Los Angeles now. This is how a typical person who wants to run a business is treated.
Talked to some commercial real estate guy about, what if we rent it out for office space? Like, how much could I get paid? This, that, and the other. I spoke to the guy this morning and I wrote it down because I didn't want to screw it up. If I want to rent out this building to a potential client and make money, I need to get a parking exemption application, parking study demand. It's $9,200. I have to pay somebody almost $10,000 just to do a parking survey so I can turn it into the city so they can decide whether I can rent my building out to another renter. That's what it costs for me. So we have a million rules for those who play by the rules, and we have no rules for those who have no money and don't play by the rules.
What's so striking, though, is that because of the system you're describing, a lot of people are like dying of ODs on the sidewalk. Contrast that to the way the ruling class felt 100 years ago. New York, flooded with immigrants from Eastern Europe, and rich people in New York decided, we're going to uplift those immigrants. We're going to spend a lot of money and time, create charities to help them. I don't see the people in Los Angeles, in the nicer neighborhoods, spending a ton of time trying to solve the homelessness problem. Why is that?
Well, sadly, if you replace the homeless human beings with homeless dogs, everybody would. That's the wiring of people who live in Los Angeles. I mean it. Every woman I know, if there were dogs just out on the street sleeping in cardboard boxes or underneath freeway overpasses, they would be on the streets all day, every day, helping those dogs. The reality is I don't think, first off, everyone in Los Angeles is just trapped in their car. So you're essentially in a terrarium, and you're looking out into a giant terrarium. It's like when you go to the zoo and you just see the reptile exhibit, and you're just sort of going, wow, look at that tree snake. What's going on? Oh, well, let's get a churro. Come on. And you just leave like you're literally in this glass box known as a Lexus, and you drive past this crazy tableau of just people flopped on the street and cardboard boxes and filth and tents and addiction and horrible, the end of humanity kind of stuff. But you're doing it like you're at a Disney ride, like on some sort of tram, like in some sort of dystopia world or something. We're like, well, boy, I feel bad for that guy, or I'm glad I'm not him. But you're doing it. I think if you're in New York, you're taking public transportation, you're on the street, you're on the subway, like you're amongst the people. I think there's more of a call to action, like this guy's next to me on the subway, or this guy's walking down the street with me. LA, everyone is married to their car, and I think that's a lot of it.
But it wasn't always this way. I mean, you grew up, I think, in North Hollywood.
Yes.
It's always kind of working class, kind of gritty, but it wasn't like this. I mean, you always had Bel Air was always rich, but you didn't have this public display of misery that you have now. What changed?
Well, what changed is we started to mistake discipline and rule of law for being mean. This sort of like, don't be mean, don't take that homeless guy. Why are you making him go here? Or why are you arresting him? Or why are you incarcerating him? Or why are you putting him in this facility? LA has become this sort of good vibes place where Mayor Garcetti and the governor of Los Angeles, governor of California, Gavin Newsom, everyone is scared of being called a bad person.
That's it,
and
right there.
We used to realize that coaches and teachers and generals and the police force and the people, the mayor and the governor, when they enforced laws, they weren't bad people. They enforced laws. They're doing what they were elected to do. They're doing their job. Now, when official says, I want to get rid of this homeless camp, we're going to bulldoze the homeless camp, we're going to give it, it's like, why are you being a mean person? Why are you being a bad person? This is a zeitgeist that's washing over this nation. That the teacher that's expelling the student for being unruly has now become the bad person. Not the student, the teacher. We're turning on the rule of law. We're turning on the teachers, the coaches, the governors, the mayors, the cops. Think what we've done with cops. We've turned cops into the bad guy.
Yeah.
Not the bad guys who were the bad guys, and the reason the cops are engaged with the bad guys is because they're involved with some bad behavior. We've turned the guy with the uniform and the badge into the bad guy. And nobody wants to be the bad guy. So everyone wants to be the tolerant, loving, yoga pants wearing kumbaya guy. And that's what we've created here in Los Angeles. No one wants to be the heavy.
They don't want to be the heavy because they know what the social justice warriors will do to them. They will take them apart. They will rip them a new asshole. They will find them. They will dox them. They will show up at their porch. They will show up at their business. They will show up at their residence. All of those things will occur. That's what they fear, not necessarily being a bad guy, but the results of so many people getting together so quickly on social media and the labeling. It's all about the labeling.
Talking to a guy who runs the Staples Center.
Listen to
He
this.
literally runs the Staples Center. They rejuvenated downtown, really. It was.
Let me go back
no
to
one
this.
Wants to be the heavy. I was talking to a guy who runs the Staples Center. He literally runs the Staples Center.
Okay, if you don't know it, the Staples Center is a big auditorium where they play, where the The LA Lakers, that big basketball team, that's where they play. Big venue in Los Angeles for lots of concerts, basketball, sports, etc.
They rejuvenated downtown,
Yeah.
really. It was falling apart. Staples Center came in and really just brought it back to life. They bring millions of dollars in tax revenues. I said to the guy, I went to a game there with my son, a Lakers game. I walked out, I almost tripped over a guy selling hot dogs on your property from a shopping cart with a propane tank on it. I said, there was dozens of these guys just all on the Staples Center property. They're selling food. They're not licensed. They're not regulated. They're not getting a grade from the system. They're literally just selling food, totally unregulated, on your property. And he said, yeah, I know. We hate it. We hate it. I wish there was something we could do about it. I said, what do you mean? What do you mean something we could do about it? Go talk to the city council.
Get off my property. How's
Go
that?
talk to the mayor. Get off my property. Throw them off your property. Call the cops. He said,
nope.
I don't want to get into trouble.
Nope. Cops won't do it.
I don't want to get. He doesn't want to run afoul of the Los Angeles city officials. He doesn't want to get in trouble for this illegal behavior, which is potentially dangerous. This food is not regulated.
So in the
There's no
name of
health
compassion,
inspector.
people get salmonella.
Right.
Perfect.
And also, this guy,
Just what
who's
we
the
need in
man
these times.
who runs the Staples Center, doesn't want to become a bad guy for taking the poor people who are selling food on his property. And he literally said, if I go to the city council with this, they'll get angry and I'll get into trouble.
Unbelievable.
That's where we're at.
Adam Carolla, thank you.
That's California. That's the state of the art right now in California. No one should be shocked. No one should be dismayed, because whatever California does, it gets moved over to you. And then, as I indicated in chat, why do I talk about California so much? Well, number one, I'm in the midst of it, obviously. And number two, the point is that California is the petri dish of growing the craziest, most stupid shit you can possibly think of. And I try to make you aware of it in your state, in your area, in your county, in your community. Because if leftists in California want this shit for me, leftists in your state, your county, your city, your community are either thinking about this right now, or they're in the process of writing legislation about this right now, or they're in the midst of implementing this stuff right now for you. Sad programming note. There will be no Shat Show tomorrow.
Monsieur! Has it
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media Studios, where I am broadcasting just for a few more moments behind enemy lines in occupied California. You want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at bzep, at bzep, my blog, bloviatingzeppelin.net. Promotional considerations are by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, the Shure Microphone Corporation, Electro Voice Microphones, Arrakis Boards, and Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust.
Will you please say hello?
You can trust. Tiaras by My Little Pony.
I won't be long.
Thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I shall be consorting in less than an hour. You can bank on that bad boy. Thanks to Jeff Dunitz for being here tonight. No Sackheads Against Tyranny, a Shat Show tomorrow. Clint is unobtainium himself. I will be back Thursday night with Ralph Chittims. We're going to talk about Christianity and pastors. Something similar to, you dudes better wake up. Politics is coming for you. Folks, God bless. Take care. Be safe.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob. Go to sleep.
Good night, and good luck.